I was thinking the other day about my performance in my work. I was once again trying to be perfect. My daily timetable attempting to perfect my emotional state and thought process to be both kind, well thought out, handling relationships and generating ideas for the future. Picking out readings and thinking of projects. I become quite annoyed when I am unable to be perfectly emotionally energetic all the time. You know when some people say that sometimes their emotional battery is low and they take a rest? Yeah, no, I do not feel safe or comfortable doing that. I must know the next steps and handle my emotions while being able to keep myself perfectly energized and disciplined. Create the perfect methods in order to be able to keep that up. If I just figured out the perfect method for that and keep reflecting, then I can keep working and keep everyone and myself happy perfectly. Well, I found that to be decently difficult. Always maintaining full perfect energy shouldn't be all that difficult, right? Just eat the perfect food and research the body physiology. Understand what requires one to be emotionally charged and systemize calling friends and expressing yourself. And articulate your tasks in a way in which you can keep yourself perfectly engaged, right? Well, to no surprise, my dumb overthinking mind soon became tired, even though I kept pushing and pushing and pushing. After all, I cannot feel safe unless I am fully emotionally energized at all times. So whether it is difficult or not, I must be able to push through and achieve this. But then, if I am becoming tired from this, does that mean that I am not strong enough? What does it even mean to be strong then? Aha, that's it. So, this is my mission and the answer for how to keep myself perfectly emotionally energized and perfectly do everything at all times. I just need to figure out what being strong is and what it entails. Just a little bit of deep dive analysis and soon I will have the answers to what being strong is. I will finally be perfectly emotionally energized. Okay then, let's see here. Let me return to my question then. What does it mean to be strong? Let me think of strength in the most conventional sense then, physical brute strength. Google defines strength as the quality of state of being physically strong. So, let's think of a lumberjack or a bodybuilder. If being strong is true being physically strong, then a little bit of research leads me to find that the man that holds the title as the strongest man is Eddie Hall. Further research as to why he's so strong leads me to find that he has extreme muscle volume. I see. So, if this is the definition of strength, then simply put, I can perhaps be as strong as I need to complete my task and to be perfectly emotionally energized if I can obtain extreme muscle volume, like Eddie Hall. Alright, let me try that out then. I do not care what method it may be. After all, if I just know that something makes me strong, I will replicate and learn all about it.
Man, I don't feel like working out today. Maybe tomorrow.
Alright, so, now that I'm jacked, I should be strong enough to be able to do my tasks right. I have worked really hard for this. Now I have the strength to be able to carry out the tasks and finally achieve full emotional energy at all times. Let's go! Let's do this! Well, I tried the same things again, but I still ended up tired and back to thinking. I do not know what I did wrong. I thought I was strong enough now, and if I am strong enough, that means I should have been able to never get tired and emotionally unenergized. Perhaps my approach and definitions were wrong. I just need to think more and be more conscientious. Yes. Alright, let's see. Being strong in physical strength was not the right approach to keep me perfectly emotionally charged. So then, let me just look over that definition again. There's a second provided definition of strength according to Google, which is strength as the capacity of an object or substance to withstand great force or pressure. I see this definition does seem to resonate with me more. I should have reflected more before committing my time to principles that take a lot of commitment, perhaps. It was rather silly of me to think that obtaining a high volume of muscle would make me strong enough to be perfectly emotionally energized. Okay then, so according to this, I just need to be able to withstand a lot of force or pressure in the face of anything and be able to keep going. So, regardless of any struggle or worry that comes my way, I just need to keep myself going. So then, is strength the capacity to keep solving and doing every project even when you don't feel like it? To commit yourself to handling every relation with perfect emotional alignment and clarity and inspire everyone perfectly? Lies in your capacity to just keep emotional energy up at all times? That is what I've been trying to achieve and do this entire time. So I am not strong after all due to not being able to keep this up at all times and spiraling out. I just need to find perfect methods and ways of thinking to keep this up and to persist regardless of any type of pressure. Whether this is loneliness, fatigue, insults, worries, hunger, conflict, sadness, anger. These are just variables to get over, and I need to know how to perfectly deal with them all in order to achieve my goals. Figure out how to keep the machine I call me energetic and alive at all times. That is what strength is, withstanding every force and pressure and managing to persist despite it. Okay then, soon I will have the answers on how to be strong if I just look at characters in fiction that are depicted to have this quality of strength, of managing to persevere and persist regardless of any obstacle. If I just analyze how they live their lives and see the components behind how they manage to stay this strong, then I can be perfectly strong and keep working as well. Let me start with one of the most iconic depictions of strength that fiction has ever given us, Guts from Berserk. Guts is a man born from a corpse, raised on battlefields and betrayed by the only people he ever loved. He represents struggle as a figure and persisting despite all the struggles. He is literally born from a woman hung from a tree, found by mercenaries, forced into a battlefield as soon as he could wield a sword, abused and tormented, betrayed by the only people he knows, yet, despite everything, persisting. Even when this man has found comrades in a place where he learned to trust, to live the life of the battlefield while believing he has people he can feel somewhat safe around, it is taken from him. His most trusted friend betrays him and sacrifices all of his comrades and him to demons to be devoured completely. The universe of Berserk is a dark one. After surviving the traumatic eclipse where his comrades were slaughtered and the woman he loved was violated, Guts is branded by a curse that draws literal demons to him every night. His entire life is a slow march through torment, rage, and grief. He is a textbook definition of suffering made flesh. Yet, he survives, he fights, he keeps going. The man who wakes up every morning with the weight of a cursed life on his shoulders, carrying a sword larger than his body. He's like 2 meters, by the way. This man is a walking tank. And walking through a world that quite literally hates him. He fights demons while bleeding from 10 different wounds, his bones cracked, his muscles torn, his mind scarred, with grief and rage and unbearable loss, and still, he keeps walking. Still, he gets up. He still fights. Why? How? I think about that a lot. What allows someone to be like Guts and to keep going? It can't be because it feels good. It can't be because he likes it, because no one likes suffering. He's lost almost everything. He lives with pain, he sleeps in trauma. Every night is a battlefield and every morning is a curse. So what is the feel then? Is it revenge? Is it pure willpower? Or is there something deeper? Something wordless? Something like that raw, feral trust in motion? That even if the world gives you no reason, even if you have no comfort, even if you scream at the sky every day, something in you knows to keep walking forward. Is that what strength is? That unshakable trust in movement itself? But I can't just force myself to be like Guts, right? I mean, I'm here spiraling about how to study harder and talk to friends more and make emotional breakthroughs and schedule my week better. And he's fighting literal hellspawn with a broken body. So if I admire his strength, but I can't replicate his context, then what is a core mechanism in him that I could even hope to emulate? Is it that he doesn't think? He just acts? But no, Guts does think. He reflects, he breaks down, he burns with regret and longing and hatred, but the motion never stops. The motion is stronger than the thought. The action has already made its decision before the doubt arrives. How do I make my action do that? I spiral so much because I can't just move. I want to move right. I want to move perfectly. But maybe perfection is the enemy of movement. Maybe strength is trusting that flawed movement is still better than paralyzed thought. Oh, okay. So that's guts. But maybe I need another perspective. Maybe someone more hopeful. Let me think. I've got it. Goku. Yes, Goku from Dragon Ball. The man who smiles in the face of pressure. He is undoubtedly someone people think of in fiction when we imagine strength, right? He is someone who doesn't just endure, but lives to be challenged. Goku is strong not because he's broken and enduring trauma like Guts, but because he loves the struggle. Goku is the purest symbol of joy and struggle. Born as Kakarot, a sane child sent to Earth to destroy it, his fate is rewritten by nurture. After a head injury as a baby, he grows up with a kind heart, raised in the mountains by a gentle martial artist. As he trains and grows, Goku transforms from an innocent boy into Earth's greatest defender, not because he seeks glory or vengeance, but because he simply loves to grow. He is a warrior who smiles at every new challenge, facing gods, tyrants, and the destruction of universes with the same wide-eyed excitement as a child entering a playground. He has died for his friends, pushed beyond the limits of mortal strength, and sacrificed comfort for progress time and time again, not out of duty, but out of instinct. Goku exists as a character who embodies the purity of progression for its own sake. He lives in complete harmony with his values and finds transcendence through pressure. There is no trauma driving him, just the eternal desire to get stronger. He lives in pure alignment. His body, his mind, his emotions, his environment, everything is in tune with this endless desire to test himself and become more. He enjoys the hardship, and not in some masochistic way either, but with sincere joy. He's happy to fall because it means there's more to rise into. And so, maybe that's strength too? Not just enduring pressure like Guts, but welcoming pressure, loving the fight, finding play inside the struggle. That's beautiful, right? That's so clean, so warm, so inspiring. But then again, why can't I be like Goku either? I want to be happy, I want to grow, I want to improve and take things on with excitement, but half the time, my energy is fractured across variables I can't even explain. My environment is messy, my thoughts are heavy, I feel the weight of other people's emotions, I get stuck thinking about what's right instead of just trying. I can't laugh like Goku and say, let's fight again, when my fight is with guilt, confusion, or loneliness. I'm not continually progressing to fight tougher opponents, I'm just trying to be perfect. What am I doing wrong? So then, what is it? What do Goku and Guts share that allowed them to be strong? Is it emotional clarity? Is it purpose? Is it the way their environments allowed them to be strong without pulling them into 10,000 thoughts at once? I don't know. I still feel too far from both of them. But then, okay, someone more real, someone more quiet, someone who reminds me not of some ideal of strength, but the quiet yearning for it. Someone that inspires me in that way. How about Ippo from Hajime no Ippo? That's an anime that I recently got into and have really enjoyed. Now that's someone I admire deeply. He doesn't have the otherworldly curse of Guts or the cosmic joy of Goku, but he's a kid who discovered that when he boxes, he feels just right. Ippo is just a regular kid, bullied, quiet, unsure of himself. He grew up helping his single mother run a fishing business, waking up early every day to haul up heavy boxes, never complaining. One day, after being saved from a beating by a professional boxer, he ends up at a gym, and something clicks. He throws a punch at a sandbag, and it's like he found the one place in the world where his body and soul speak the same language. He doesn't box because he wants revenge or fame. He boxes because in that ring, everything makes sense. No overthinking, no pretending, just effort and truth. He doubts himself all the time, but he never stops stepping forward. Every time he's knocked down, he gets up. He continues facing harder and harder training regimen and opponents which have developed tactics that require more effort every single time, not allowing him any rest, and yet he keeps persisting despite all that pressure. Why? Not because of some deep ideology, but because he loves boxing. fully, instinctively, without ever needing to explain it. That's it. That's the whole thing. And somehow that's enough for him to keep training, to keep fighting, to keep pushing his body to its absolute limit again and again. He's humble, he doubts himself, he isn't some mystical hero, but the moment he steps into that ring, all of that fades. He fights because something in his heart knows. There's no overthinking, no ego, no self-deceit. It's just, I want to get stronger. That's why I admire his character so deeply. Because I don't feel that purely about anything. I think about everything too much. I want to be strong in everything at the same time, emotionally perfect, intellectually sharp, socially meaningful, creatively brilliant, and I crumble because the weight of it all splinters my focus. But Ippo, he puts on gloves and hits the bag. That's it. And every time he does that, he gets stronger. Not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually, because he trusts in that motion. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe strength isn't brute force like Eddie Hall. Maybe it isn't just surviving like Guts. Maybe it's not even joyously fighting like Goku. Maybe the thing common in all these characters that makes them be able to persist in the face of pressure, what makes them stronger than everyone else, always seeming to survive or thrive despite all the struggles, is trust. The trust that what you're doing matters, even when it is hard. The trust that you'll keep going, not because it always feels good, but because you believe in it enough that stopping isn't even an option. With Guts, he trusts fully, intuitively, through everything that he believes in, and he has been reinforced that he just needs to squeeze his teeth, bear everything, and in this cruel world, just be able to struggle through everything. His entire being resonates with the pressure of having to struggle. And because he believes in this reality of the need to be strong in such a reality, he keeps persisting. With Goku, he's an extreme example, but he signifies that the intuitive desire to just want to be stronger seemingly ingrained in his soul is what keeps him persisting. He just likes the process of becoming stronger and improving in this. Not as a reason to be conquering or doing it out of a need to survive, but simply because he likes the process of getting above any challenge and strain. He completely trusts in that without questioning it, intuitively and instinctively. It's such a strong pace that he doesn't even need to think about it. The same is for Ippo. He does not have to think of the why to know that he likes boxing. He trusts that his entire passion and process of boxing resonates with him, reinforcing his identity and feeling in a way that he has no reason to not trust instinctively that boxing is what he wants to improve in. So now I ask myself, how do I build that trust? How do I create the environment, the clarity, the emotional conditions that allow me to stop spiraling and start trusting? Because maybe, just maybe, the answer to being perfectly emotionally energetic all the time isn't to solve some emotional problem at once, or to optimize every variable, or to master every technique to make myself be able to carry all the tasks in my mind with perfect clarity. Maybe the answer is to build a life around emotion I can trust, to find a thing and conditions that makes me have that trust. And maybe that's what real strength is. Alright then. Okay then. I've solved what strength is then. I just need to trust in the processes that I do with all of my soul, not even questioning the things I commit myself to due to how much it reinforces every part of my being. That way, I'll be able to get through any hurdle and be strong. I will finally be perfectly emotionally charged. Okay then. I will just remember that I am the man that does all the projects, carries out the research to help others, invests in systems and internal worlds, navigates every emotional situation effectively to be able to navigate any toxic or healthy relation in the best way possible. I can be infinitely strong if I trust in my work and its importance, and that is necessary to the point where I fully trust that my only option is to carry it out and love the process of it perfectly. I got this, yo. I do not care what method it may be. If I just know that something makes me strong, I will replicate it and learn all about it. Let's do this! Well, that did not work. In the end, I still ended up tired. Perhaps it was reckless and stupid of me to think that I can create the conditions in which I can trust in every piece of work that I do to a subconscious level. Was I just not smart or calculated enough? Perhaps I could have created those settings to make myself perfectly emotionally energized if I had just known more about how to optimize myself. Was I wrong? Am I not strong enough? Am I still missing something? And then it spiraled again. Because if even trusting in my mission isn't enough, then what is? I must have messed it up. That was the perfect formula this time, right? So then, what's left? You see, I cannot be not strong. I cannot fail being perfectly emotionally energized. In a world that contains the emotions and desires of so many individuals and passions, failure to be able to contain your own emotions and to control them and be considerate of others while being anchored in your own talents, to be perfectly conscious of every state that I am in, to be able to remember that all the time and perfectly remember kindness is a value, understand how systems and structures, businesses, economics, everything prevents this from happening, and to navigate every situation at an individual level is absolutely necessary. If I do not do those things, then I will crumble under the weight of everything and not be given any kindness and acceptance either. So I will simply bear all of this and learn infinitely in order to just be able to provide for everyone, to create the environments where people can be happy and live energetically, and this requires that I never lose the will to work and advance in this. If I just systemize myself perfectly in this aspect, then I will surely just be able to keep this up at all times. What is wrong with this? I can learn, live, be present in the moment, and enjoy my life, can continuously reflect on my internal state to simultaneously do this and be happy as well. I just need to analyze more. I just need to ensure above all else that I stay perfectly emotionally energetic. I need to be strong enough. I must be able to do this, because if I do not, then the emotions people feel me with, kindness, enthusiasm, compassion, these things disappear around me and in the world in an uncontrollable manner. People cannot differentiate between good and bad, become monsters, master manipulators, system exploiters, selfish, egocentric, narcissistic, and their emotions and worlds. If only they could be perfectly navigated and explored, then everyone could be happy. So I will bear all of it and provide for everyone. I got this. So then why can I not do this? If I know this is so essential, if my entire sense of being and drive hinges on this, why can I not be strong enough to not need anything but this? I don't know. I've tried everything. I've studied, systemized, intellectualized every pain I've ever felt. I've turned my emotions into data points, my trauma into strategies, my soul into a machine of meaning production. Because I thought that if I just knew enough, felt deeply enough, loved powerfully enough, then I could finally become enough. Strong enough to hold the world together. But maybe I've misunderstood what strength actually is. Because all this burning desire to be perfect, it didn't come from strength. It came from fear. Fear that if I ever stop moving, everything will fall apart. Fear that if I'm not emotionally perfect, I will be unloved. Fear that the world will go dark again unless I make it light for everyone else. But maybe strength is not never needing. Maybe it's needing and choosing anyway. Maybe it's not being able to carry everything and still walking. Maybe it's not being able to solve every system and still caring. Maybe strength is not being perfectly emotionally energized, but choosing to connect, even through exhaustion, even when I break. Maybe it's not about being enough all the time. Maybe it's about showing up anyway because I love. Perhaps being strong comes from letting yourself feel everything and accepting that you need it. Perhaps that is why I have come to not be able to recognize the seamless type of strength and be perfect in all ways like the characters I idealize as strong. Why I failed to be perfectly emotionally energized in all aspects despite all of my calculations and perfect methods. If I see everything as variables to wield the machinery that is me, to see caring and needing as needs to address so that I can keep on working on things more perfectly, because it is essential for everything that is me, then perhaps I undermine the very thing that allows us to wield strength in the first place. Our humanity. It is okay to want to fulfill our ambitions and dreams, but the desire to achieve it can become so overwhelming that we separate all parts of us as humans in order to achieve it. Perhaps, to be strong, I need to let myself need and feel, to trust in the world, that even when I try to calculate how I become the most aware and perceptive of everything around me as well as myself, I fail to achieve the one thing that makes me perfectly emotionally charged. To be human. I was doing all this so I could make sure that people feel energized and energetic, so that I can be given that as well, but my desire for strength undermined my ability to be strong. I can only be strong if I let myself be weak, and return to living and persisting for what makes me human. So, my dear viewers, while I could not answer the question of how to be perfectly emotionally energized, I truly apologize if you had come here for that. I believe perhaps we reached a more important truth than that initial point. Whether strength is to be physically strong or to bear any burden and keep persisting, regardless of what your dream may be, and telling whether it will succeed or not is not something that depends on calculating and perfectly systemizing your path alone. If you see even your energy and livelihood as variables to assess at all times, you may lose sight of where your desire for strength came from. From being human, from caring, loving, laughing, enjoying, crying, getting angry, feeling. If you do not let yourself feel this alongside your values, you're not even using the right controller for the game, as you were never meant for this. I cannot know whether I will be perfectly achieving everything I set out, perfectly define every step of the way to align with my intuition and help others do this best the way possible. But I know that maybe, if I let myself feel and be vulnerable to others, then I will find the right way. You must have someone you can be vulnerable to. Anyone, whether you believe it or not. Before you can trust that you can fully commit to every task in your agenda and be the strongest, perhaps trust in someone else. Because if we are to be strong and achieve everything we want, we first need to trust that we can be weak as well.